I've been trying to do this since 2017 when I first ended up being disabled and knowing that I wasn't going to be able to meet all my life's goals and dreams. So let me explain. Because the doctor said, hey, do you want to live to see your children graduate from high school? And if you've heard me talking at all in any of these chats or streams, the most important thing to me is my children. The most important thing to me is black children, right? And in that moment, I was like, okay, what you gonna do, girl? I decided to get myself together and become the black woman that I wanted my sons to look for in a wife. So I lost weight. I went to school. I opened a daycare after a while. And I became a chef in my own right. But all of those things were just for my one purpose and goal, and it will always be that. My one purpose in this world is young, black.
Citizens, how's your spirit? Mine, forgetful, obviously. I haven't been on in a week, and all of a sudden, I don't know how to remember to put myself in the stream. Isn't that sad? Who's in the chat already? Hey, Sophia Sharif, how's your spirit? I'm sorry to hear that you've got COVID symptoms. Dang, a lot of people are experiencing COVID. Rico said that he's got some COVID issues. A couple of other folks, XDMC, said that he had some COVID issues. I believe that maybe even Portia and Daniel may have had some COVID issues over these last couple of days, which I guess means by extension that I have as well. But with this fibro body, I'm never really sure, whether or not I've got an issue or it's just another one of those days. So is what it is. Anyway, how's your spirit, everybody? What's going on? Let's see. What do I know so far? I know that I was on earlier with Darrell. That was great. A great conversation about what we could do better for the community, talking about young lady Micaiah Bryant. Peace and light, Darrell. How's your spirit? Glad to see you in the chat, Cuzzo. Micaiah Bryant, we talked about. We talked about Michael Craig. Really just an understanding, really more of an understanding of the fact that 1,000 people a year are 86 by police officers. And in case you didn't know, 86 is a culinary term. I believe it's also a military term, but it's for trash. And I hate to say it that way, but that's how police officers are treating people these days, as if, we're expendable. So, maybe putting it in that terms, maybe some more people will get it. But we had a conversation about, what we could do different. And I was thinking about that. So I decided, what the hey, I'll do this pop up because according to YouTube, I haven't been live in a month. That's not true. They just blocked the last couple of videos because there was way too many theme songs in there. Speaking of, does anybody have a theme song for me? Anybody? What's my theme song right now? Hmm. Mm, hmm. This one. Can y'all hear that? I doubt it. Let's see. YouTube does not like when I do that. Not that I care. And too many things going. I stick. I'll have to bring it in the other way, you guys. Okay, so all my life I've been told, but it really don't matter no more. And they wonder why we act this way. Never boys gonna be okay.
Wonder why we act this way. Let me know it's gonna be okay. All my life been told, but it really don't matter no more. And they wonder why we act this way. Everything's gonna be okay, okay.
All right. That works a little bit better, you guys. What do you think? I suppose I can accept that for now. Not really my favorite way to go about things, but what the heck? I'm moving it and pausing it. Ta-da! I'm back. All right. So, like I said, this conversation is really about knowledge and acknowledgement and communication skills. But before we get there, like I said, I just kind of wanted to touch base on what we spoke about earlier when it came to Darrell's stream and Micaiah Bryant. I kind of have talked about it on this channel a couple of times, a few times, and I probably should talk about it some more. But it's very difficult to discuss. One of the things that Darrell mentioned in that chat was that it happened on 4/20 of 2021, and so many things, so many memories that it brings back. It makes some things painful, hard to talk about, to deal with. And when you're out here and you want to try to be in a public space and you want to share and you want to add value, it gets difficult because people who do know your story ask you to talk about those things. And how do you talk about those things? It's how do you share your truth and you're transparent and those things are great, but how do you talk about it? How do you do it without letting all of your emotions out? I apologize to the gentleman that was on the panel, to the people I was on the panel with earlier today, because I kind of got in my feels and began to cry, but it wasn't necessary. I hadn't actually done any harm to anyone. It was just more of a matter of I felt I knew that I had changed the energy around me in the room. And I think that we don't acknowledge that enough. We don't address that enough. And it was one of those things to me to make sure that I said, I understood, because it was so personal to me. I had kind of done that. But having said that, we need to talk about how we have these conversations um, in an effective way. And we may not always find solutions, but we need to be um, solution oriented. We need to be mindful of the people who are across from us. One of the things I just really wanted to talk about was, acknowledging the person on the other side of us when we're having these conversations. But I want you guys to take a moment, the deal, like, share, subscribe, send all your friends in, do all that jazzy stuff. Uh, I'm going to take a pause for this cause over here. Does anybody have a theme song for me? I really wonder. I've got to. Anyway, never mind. That's not important. Oh, look, and there goes my signal. I really just think that YouTube does not want me to be having these conversations, y'all. What is that about? What is that about? Anyway, um, so tell me, what are your thoughts? Like I said, go ahead and share with your friends, get everybody in here, and let's have a conversation. What does it take to actually build um, a community from the ground up? What do you have to talk about? What kind of communication skills? What's necessary? Um, What do you have to know? What's the knowledge part and acknowledgement? And in the meantime, what's your theme song? This one's an oldie but goodie. I feel like I haven't played it in a while, so I'm gonna. Whoops. Shout out to Shalay. I hope your spirit is well, sis. I probably should have sent you this link, but I wasn't even sure that I was going to be filling up to it. So sometimes that's what happens, guys. Another thing when it comes to talking about the knowledge that's necessary, you have to know who you are as a person and whether or not you can actually do these things, right? So this is one of those journeys for me, is knowing who I am and what I'm capable of. No, I don't see what he said. Okay, so like I said, when it comes to knowledge in communication, what do you need to know in order to be able to communicate with someone? For me, I had to be aware that I'm not the same as I used to be. I was talking to someone earlier today, and I was saying how I remember before. I remember before the split. I remember before the sundowning. I remember before the pain in my body. I remember when I was what you would call normal. What some people would call normal. But that's gone. And my life now is fantastic. I'm the happiest that I've ever been, in love in a way that I've never known before. People around me who I truly believe, no matter what happens, will be my allies and my advocates. Make sure that my needs are first, were I to be in a crisis situation. Um, and I don't think that everybody has that. I made it my mission to create that for myself and others, which is why I came to Tucson, and how other people came to be here in Tucson at the same time as me. But really and truly, like, it started with knowing who I was and what I thought I was capable of. And then I found out that I wasn't really capable, that I needed to be capable of more. Um, hey, baby. How was work?
Work was smooth.
Okay. Food's on the counter. Nicole's making pizza. And I just started streaming. Yeah. I just started streaming. The topic is the knowledge and acknowledgement. Really just talking about how I came to Tucson and this point in communicating better. But I'm also supposed to be packing the bowl, and I don't feel well, and I can just as easily turn the camera off, to be honest. Oh, well, I guess that means I'm not turning off the camera, huh, love?
You can turn it off. You can. It's up to you, bro.
I'm listening. Talk to me.
So you said you gotta bear with me. You know, I be a little slow sometimes, right? Especially when I just get off work. So could you repeat to me the topic of the stream?
The knowledge and acknowledgement,
The knowledge and acknowledgement,
communication skills.
communication skills. Okay. I have to move things out of the way in order to say no.
Y'all, did you just act like the house wasn't clean because there's one chair?
Not this chair,
Oh,
this chair, that chair,
oh,
that other chair, that chair there.
Gonna come in and be petty in the stream is what we're going.
I'm being truthful. How am I being petty?
That's all right. The fact that no one can hear you, they can only hear me. That's not true. They can hear you. You just can't hear anything else. There's nothing going on. There's no them.
There's no gun.
Them. What?
Oh, I'm like, huh? I'm like, how do we get there?
How did you get there?
There's no gun. That's what I heard. There's no gun. I'm like, huh?
Where we go?
You know, today was smooth, bro. You know, work was smooth. I pretty much was a servant today. Pretty much just complete utter servant today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't make no extra tips.
Okay.
Didn't get no,
Was that the goal?
didn't get no snacks or nothing. You know, it wasn't all bad. It was just tedious. It was just tedious, but what I did helped everyone else. So that's
Well,
cool.
That's always good, right?
Yeah. It's kind of like my only purpose of being here. So assist everyone else. So,
Hey, Don Frank, how's your spirit? We're just sitting here debating whether or not to stay live at this moment. Um, Daniel hasn't given any helpful input at all, so there's that. I love you. Just saying.
so you said, all right, so the knowledge and acknowledgement.
Yeah.
Okay. So
What do you need to know to have better communication skills?
what do you need to know to have better communication skills?
I'm peace, Don. Right there.
What do you need to know to have better communication skills?
You might want to move towards the camera. Or is it me who needs to move the camera towards you? Sorry. There. No, still gotta be the camera, sorry.
It's because of the angle. Oh look, you can see my head. All right. But do I have an answer to that? Or at least like again, let me see. What do you need to know to have better communication skills? Well, I'd say the first thing is awareness. Being aware of where your communication level is. That's the first part right there. Because if you're never aware that you may or may not be good at communicating, then you'll continue on living, believing that you either are or aren't, without ever really knowing. You're not aware of it if no one else makes you aware of it, and if you don't inquire about it.
Who makes you aware of communication skills? Not whether or not you have them, but who makes you aware of what they are?
Make sure you know what communication skills are.
It could have been, but there's no cannabis in there. So
First thing comes to mind. Make sure what, like, who is, all right. Can you rephrase the question? Can you rephrase it? But the thing that's got me is, are you asking who is supposed to make you aware, or who, or like who usually turns out to be the one that makes you aware, or what type of the type of person, the person with a specific type of role in your life, are they the person that usually makes you aware, or the first one that I just said?
Yeah. Who teaches you communication skills?
I mean, isn't it supposed to be your parents
Why do you say that?
because they birthed you? Like they're kind of like the first thing, you know.
What do you
Like
mean?
it's like you come from your parents, like even like directly from your parents. So it's like so
Okay.
I'd say your guardian, whoever is caring for your growth from infancy, your guardian, whoever is your guardian, is responsible for teaching you these things.
Sophia Sharif says, for communication, expect the unexpected. Let a person be honest and listen, not to your boys, not to the nail salon girls. You don't want to close that door. Regrets indeed. Sophia says, hello, Daniel.
Hello, Sophia.
um, why, if your parents are supposed to teach you communication skills, then why do so many adults lack communication skills?
Because we've been brought up with entertainment. We've been entertained for most of our lives as opposed to communicated to. Like, for an example, when a child is crying, they have a favorite show that they watch, right?
Mm-hmm.
The parent puts that show on to shut the kid up. And it's just, a lot of the time, it's just, music. Music or some type of game.
So, does that mean that those who didn't grow up with television have better communication skills?
Those who didn't grow up with television have a no, because it depends on the parent. It varies.
How's that?
Because some parents are act. Some parents chose to be parents actively, like thought about it before they made the child, and then others did the act, and then the child was a result of the act. It was like, oh, all right, well, it's here now, so we got to take care of it. And the active parents, the one who chose to be a parent, considered the longevity of that child's life, and they teach it stuff. You know,
Fair enough.
they teach it stuff that's useful for it in life.
When you speak to your peers, male or female, race doesn't matter either, how do they speak about marriage and parenting in this modern age?
My peers,
Mhm.
they run away from it entirely. It's taboo. Marriage and parenting, taboo.
What about
You, you,
love?
you mention the word, they're like, First thing they say, excuse my French, hell no. First thing they say,
Did you say French? Hell no? Okay.
I did. And then you said, what about love? Um, when the subject of love is brought up with men, my age group, my peers, it's can't fall in love. There's no such thing as love. then when it's women, it's it's usually one or two of the ends of the spectrum. It's usually either like a fantasy thing
Mm-hmm.
or um, an I don't understand thing. Like I don't know what love is thing. So like yeah, so usually with my peer group, with the guys, it's love doesn't exist. With the girls, it's either some fairy tale version of love or I don't know what love is.
How who would so since you say that most of your peers were pushed in front of the television, do you think that they got their ideas of love from TV?
Definitely.
But if TV is selling you the best of things, why do you all feel so negative towards love? If it's propaganda, why? Hey, red lipstick. But if it's propaganda, why do you all not buy into it? Because they sell love all over TV and social media, and yet you all are like, yeah, no, I'm out.
Because we don't see it happen in real life. For our generation, seeing is believing. So like, I mean, yeah, we can see it on TV, but we also understand that okay, yeah, that's a movie, or that's a show, or that's a song.
Yes.
But when we look around in our everyday life, we don't see those things, and so we're just like, oh, okay, well,
So, how did you come to be accepting of love in your own life?
uh, a lot of button heads with you, whole lot of button heads.
Why?
I mean, you keep asking me why, like I just know the answer to these things.
You don't know why we butted heads?
Oh, I know why we butted heads. Excuse me. We butted heads because we both have a sense of personal belief. Like we have a we have a deep sense of our own personal beliefs, and we lead our lives according to that. And yeah, neither of us were really willing to back down from anything that we stood on. So
So,
so it took a lot of time and a lot of communication. A lot of it was ineffective. There was a lot of ineffective communication going on, right? A lot of in one ear, out the other. But then, hold on, I'm trying to collect my thoughts because I'm tired. So I usually lose train of thought when I'm tired. But communication,
ineffective communication, but then
it's ineffective communication. But then came compromise. So it was a series of compromises on both parts. Yeah, it was a series because like at first we weren't willing to compromise, and then gradually we both started taking steps towards compromise. And then we started. There's like little things here, and then like accommodations here and stuff like that. And then it just kind of built. It just kind of built up over time.
do you feel like one of us sought to change the other?
I felt like you sought to change me, which was part of the reason for a lot of the contention, because I felt like you sought to change me.
And now you still feel that way?
Now, now I'm on. Now I'm just thinking about how to change our lives. I was thinking about doing different things. doing different things and bringing bringing ideas to life, to reality,
Yeah.
and not just
Sophia Sharif says, well, Daniel, opposites attract, head-butting or not. Big old googly eyes. And then Red Lipstick Bob says, what a sweetheart you are. Oh, because Sophia said to Red Lipstick, because Sophia has COVID. Like I say, Sophia, you'll be in our thoughts and prayers. I wasn't out to change you. When we met here, I told you that we had to learn how to communicate because we had to be allies, if nothing else, in the situation that we were in. And then outside of that, I felt like, but I often feel as though people want me to change, not understanding how far I've come, considering. Like last year, this time, I couldn't send emails, I couldn't make phone calls, I couldn't do anything. Um, and then by, what was it, June, July, I'm on YouTube trying to start a live stream. Still couldn't send emails, make phone calls, or any of those things, and have a hard time now, but I can reach out to someone first. I can remember things that I had broken pathways to. But then there's some things that I still can't access. Like right now, things that we just talked about yesterday. Like the catering.
oh yeah, yeah.
Why though? I was just a chef a couple of years ago. I know exactly how to create a
Catering?
yes, a catering menu and a
Schedule?
guide. That's even worse.
My bad. My bad.
Oh, so all of my people out there who stutter, I know y'all like that. Woo, a banquet events order.
Hey,
It's the way that things go. Hey, Portia. It's the way that things are supposed to go throughout the course of a banquet. There's a particular name for that thing. I wrote one damn near every day for like 3 years. Not being able to access it bothers me. But as much it bothers me that like you'll tell me let's go do this. I'm up. I'm functional. Last year, when you first came, I would sleep more than I would do anything else. I couldn't get myself up more than anything else. I'm like, can we taste this some? That's how I feel, but I guess everybody else doesn't see it that way. Like I don't know. I don't know. So having to, I feel like sometimes I have to overshare in order to not feel like someone's trying to change my life. Like, and it's not fair because I know that other people have a whole lot of stuff going on with them too. But I'm like, can you get out your head? This is right here, right now, in this moment. And now I don't have to ask those questions. You and Portia and Lona, y'all show up. But just like you said that you hadn't seen that in your life, I feel like other people, enough of my peers, have been hurt or mistreated or even done some things where they feel like they have this karma that's owed to them, that they don't put out any effort. Like, I guess that's my question. Why be willing to compromise if it was never a thing that you thought about in the first place?
Because it was a thing that I never thought about in the first place. So like the way my I'm a curious spirit naturally, right? I've always been drawn to discovery, and so when a new concept is introduced to me, you know, I observe it, I take it in. I'm like, all right, what is this thing? You know, and then move forward. You know, that's just that's just me. Like I'm very open minded. You know, when it comes to a lot of things. You know,
Okay.
so that's why.
So now, being on this side of it, how do you feel about it? Hey, Keisha, look at Keisha. She go flirting with you, Keisha. Keisha,
Hey, Keisha.
Keisha.
That's my father's name. Oh, nice. That's my father's name too.
It's not my daddy's name, okay? Feel some type of way. You mentioned some time ago some friends who were in a relationship situation. When you talk to them, what do you tell them now?
When I
Or
talk
if
to,
you had an associate who was in a relationship, had a relationship issue, how would you counsel them? Do you think you counsel them the same way as you did before, or
not the same as I would before, because what I would do before was I would try to assess the situation, right? So like they'd come to me about something regarding the relationship, and I'm like, all right, so let's look at the situation. All right, so what's happening, right? What's happening? Okay, and then I'm like, all right, so now I try to put myself in the shoes of both parties, right? And I try to get both sides, right? Um, Sometimes I would get both sides. Sometimes I wouldn't. I would only get the one side. And so then I try to look at the situation from the perspective of the other person, or what it could look like.
mm-hmm.
And so then I would just kind of essentially, because I'm kind of rambling right now. Essentially, I would try to make. Damn, that sounds really bad. I would try to make them aware that there can be another perspective to look at it through. Yeah,
Okay.
like you know.
Sophia says, love, life, and pain teaches communication skills. My fiance ended our future because I didn't understand him having over 1,500 female followers, etc. Lord, the unfollow, the drama, the crazy. Well, okay. Hmm. Um, I have not had over 220 followers. That's not true. I think I have there might be 500 on Twitter. I don't move like that, so I can't say as I understand, but I think that you're right, Sophia, when you say that love, life, and pain teach communication skills. I got a lot better at communicating when I got a lot more pain. One of the first things that I had to learn was how to tell people when it was okay to touch me or not because of the chronic pain. Um, I had to learn to accept needing somebody, which is still hard. Uh, it's, it's one thing in your imagination to have someone to be like, "Ooh, I can't wait for the day that somebody will pick me up and carry me around the house and this, that, and the third." And it's another thing to need that because then it certainly feels loving, but it's not all of the romantic stuff that people make it that movies and television make it seem like. Um, I don't know. We don't. It's weird. It's weird when I think about. Lord knows all the conversations we had. Not nan one of them did we see. I speak for myself, even though I know it's the same. Not nan one of them did I see leaving here.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I would agree with that 100%. 100%. 1,000%. 1,000%.
It made me feel some type of way. Why you gonna respond on his birthday though, Sophia? Listen, I'm going to say what I've said before, which is why step and poop twice. If you know it's poop, why would you go and put your foot right back in it? That's just my question. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't understand. Um, I don't know, babe. Do you have any questions?
Oh, ooh, my train of thought is like,
You're sleepy. I need to know.
do I have any questions?
I have a question. What was it like making the decision to just be like, you know what? I'm going. You said you're curious and you're willing to try new things, but in your head, what was the process like? I'm gonna pick up and move from all the way out east to this whole new state. People I don't really know that well. You may have known the fellow, but yeah.
Oh,
In your head, what was that thought
yeah.
process?
So that thought process for me, it was a process of elimination for me. Honestly, it was a process of elimination. I was weighing my options between the setup, the homeless setup that I had, and moving in with someone, and the experiences that I had living with other people. I mean, pretty much my whole life up to that point, I was living with other people. And so I was like, I got a pretty good setup here, though. So then I was like, but I'm missing one key thing, which is finances. And I was like, well, move out there. I got a roof, I got food. Those things are taken care of. Then I'll get a job out there, and then start building from there. And so then I was like, all right, well, I exhausted my options out here. Let's head over there and see what's going on.
Did you ask him why? Why would your mama take somebody in that you don't know?
You know,
He didn't occur to you.
mhm.
Okay, I don't remember whether or not you asked. I assume at some point you did. Maybe
I
not.
mean, maybe while we was in job corps, I don't know, but I don't think I ever asked the question. I never thought because I never really like when he brought it up. I was like, yeah, I could do that, but I want to figure this out myself first, or attempt to, and then that didn't work out. so, so I came out here. But I mean, I definitely wasn't, still am not a stranger to being taken in. Uh,
That reminds me. We had a conversation earlier on Darrell's channel, and I don't know if Darrell's still in the chat. He may pull up, or if he is. We spoke.
you spoke.
Don't, with your Georgia accent, I know you didn't.
I don't know.
Would you like to go ahead and
No.
hit this bowl so that you can make fun?
Wait.
Oh.
That wasn't me judging your speaking. That was me trying to comprehend what was just said.
Spoke.
Okay.
We spoke earlier today about young adults who have been in the foster system. A young lady named Micaiah Bryant, who was unfortunately damn, that is my channel. She was killed by the police in Ohio. She was a foster child. And one of the reasons that she was out there that day with a steak knife trying to defend herself was because she was fighting to get back to her younger sister, whom she thought some of the other folks in the foster home were mistreated. So we had a conversation about it. This young lady named Tia, but I was just and Marcus mentioned, the different experiences that happened, and I was saying that it wasn't. I'd never experienced those things. I just from the outside understood that they don't have any control over that, and they don't have any voice, but they're mistreated. You would know more than I would, so is it something that you would want to speak about?
What about my foster care experience?
Foster care in general, the never
Foster
be
care
your
in general.
experience.
I don't know. It was very brief. I was very young. I mean, I think what foster care does in general is it what's the word? Not instills, but it, for lack of better words, it makes it makes individuals who go through the foster care system um, expect instability, and it makes it harder for them to trust others because in foster care, even if you go into like a nice home, like a nice foster family, and they treat you right, you're not gonna stay there unless they like adopt you. But I mean, you might stay there for maybe 6 months, 7 months, but then it's a it's a limited thing. It's not permanent. So it's like you can meet the greatest foster family in the world, but if they're not adopting you, then it's like, all right, well, you're gonna part ways, and you know that. So and then it's on to something else. You don't really know what to expect, because each family is different. And so you just kind of go with it. I mean, you don't really have much of a choice unless you just kind of like buck the system, and like go your own way.
So do you learn not to get comfortable? You think, or and not trust, or are they even separate things?
Yeah, you said learning not to get comfortable
Yeah.
and distrust.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think they're two separate things because you come to trust the instability. You know, it's like if there's nothing else you can count on, you can count on this thing not staying the same. And so I'd say you learn to not get comfortable, but the trust thing is a separate thing.
If you could define a good foster situation, what is it?
A good foster situation. Um, I'd say a good foster situation is a situation where you're not living in fear. You're not afraid for your safety. You're not afraid of the people around you. You're not afraid of going to play outside or walking down the street.
Can that happen anywhere?
Can that happen anywhere? Can that happen anywhere? Uh, that depends. It depends. It's subjective. Greetings to Mr. Matt Ricks.
Peace and light, Matt. How's your spirit? Portia Marie said that comfort and trust are separate to her. And my question in response is, which is more important than Portia Marie, comfort or trust initially? Daniel, you gotta.
Huh? You were asking me?
I
thought you were
mean,
asking her.
I'm asking her, but it's not like the Portia's gonna pop up and then magically answer, babe. I mean, I know she'll walk across and she'll probably do
she
that,
literally could do
but
that.
she really could, but so the question, what was the question again? Oh, there it is. The question is, which is more important, trust or comfort initially?
Which is more important, trust or comfort? Well, I mean, in what context? Because I start getting all philosophical on these types of questions.
Well, that's kind of the point in reality, love. Like, neither of us knows. Thank you, Ania. I'm glad to be live. We will be going live more often, y'all. One, it was a work schedule thing. Two, a life balance, and then the disability demons have their own plans, so we have to work around all those things. But we're gonna get it done together. Um, but I mean, it's kind of the point. Just like you said, neither of us planned on this going in. I had my own ideas about what any relationship that I was going to have coming into this was going to look like. And this was by no means it. If you remember, it included two entirely different living spaces. It included, yeah, go travel nights, weekends, and I'll see you every other third Saturday. Like,
Oh yeah, it was like separate but together.
mm-hmm. Yeah. And to go
Together
from
but
that
separate.
to being like, man, if you don't hurry up and get home, because I miss you and just your face, and yeah, I have to talk to anybody else, but I just want to see your face. That's after having been married some 20 years to yeah. Anyway, so back to the comments over here. My bad. Keisha says it's trust and comfort. Portia says trust is more important, but the hardest of the two. I can be comfortable with the person, but not fully trust them. Matt Rick says peace. Always good to know. Thank you. We're so happy. For you, is it comfort or trust first? What do you say? Well, you didn't because you were being philosophical and sneaky.
All right, so I'd say it's trust first because I mean, for me, trust leads to comfort.
Hey, there's Mr. Long in the back. Wait, you're not connected though. You got a white. There you go. Hey, Mr. Long, how's your spirit?
What up, Darrell?
Yeah, it says
Nope. There we go. Huh?
is it moving slow?
It is moving slow. At least the chat is. But I'm gonna do this.
I'm talking about like it's like my can you guys hear me well, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh no, you're fine right now.
Okay.
Yeah, we hear you.
Can you guys see my handsome face? Say, let me stop.
Really,
I
still,
was on King's channel and I guess I was having issues, but I think I figured out why. I think I figured out why.
why?
A whole bunch of technical jargon stuff. On top of new Wi-Fi, new building, etc., etc.
Okay, fair enough. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. I mentioned to Daniel that we talked on your panel about the foster care system
Micaiah Bryant.
earlier. Yes.
Hmm.
But specifically, Daniel has his own foster care experience. He was younger, um, but I asked him if he wanted to discuss it, and I figured you might want to take the opportunity to address anything that we might have missed earlier when we were talking.
Oh yeah, no. Earlier I was talking about Micaiah Bryant and how her journey through foster care ended with her being shot. As we all know, April 20th. Um, she was shot April 20th, 2021. So it wasn't like it hasn't even been a year yet. So or hold on, I'm so sorry. How long has it been?
It's been
It's
less
just
than a
been like,
year.
yeah, it's been like what, 9, 7 months. So um I got some other videos that's premiering right now. A long reaction video, and I actually I decided to go ahead and put out that unedited version of Surviving La Peef as well. Shout out to Sophia and Keisha. Yes. But yeah, I've been really focused on getting that story out, like I told you, out of my system because it was real hard to talk about. Every time I tried to sit down and turn the camera on, I was like, man, this shit is just too depressing. And as you know, I wasn't even gonna talk about Micaiah today. That was a spare situation. I was ready for smoke today. Um, but that situation just always made me sad when I think about it because I think Marcus hit it on the head the best that when you're in a situation where you don't have any family, you're already detached from everybody that you know and love, that creates a trauma in itself. And then to make matters worse, you're in an environment, being foster care where you're not safe. You're constantly in danger. You're constantly being picked on. Um, it made a lot of sense why her anger turned to violence, especially when people putting their hands on you, people trying to jump you, people trying to beat up you and your sister. Um, but yeah, for me, it was all about just it, a 16-year-old girl should be alive, but not today because she was in a place where she was continuously being abused, and when she had a violent reaction to it, she even called the police, and they came and they took her out. So that's just how I feel. It's a fact, though.
No, do you want to go ahead or do you want me to?
What
So,
about the foster care?
yeah.
Yeah, you just go ahead.
So I guess.
Sleepy to reach back that far.
Oh, I'm sorry. Matt Ricks asked what to Google. Her name is Micaiah Bryant. Darrell, do you have a link you can drop in the chat, or would it be? It might be faster because I looked her up earlier.
Um, there's once you type in her name, a million articles pop up about her.
Yeah,
The one that I always reference, if you type in Micaiah Bryant, New York Times, the
that's the
article
first one. Yeah,
automatically pops up and it talks about her journey through the foster care. And
I'm putting it in the chat, Matt. Um, Unfortunately, the young lady was killed on 4/20 of last year. It was a situation similar to that of Michael Craig, where she was the one who was actually being assaulted. In this case, she had the weapon in her hand trying to defend herself, though. But the police still took action against her, and she lost her life. She had been in the foster system for the majority of her life, from what I understand. Um, and it's just an all around um, disastrous situation. Once again, that we were just trying to discuss, where do we start in this thing in trying to get people to understand that they can make a change, which is how we got to me having this conversation about communication and knowledge and acknowledgement. But um, I don't know. These are always hard for me, Darrell. Like I said, as much as I want to be a leader and stand up and talk about it, it just makes me feel icky to my core, and I don't want to do. How do you?
How do I talk about it?
Yeah,
Um, well, people say stuff like, "Well, it's easier for us to talk about entertainment and stuff," but for me, it's all And let me know if you need me to turn my camera off because I don't want it to be skipping.
you're
But
fine.
for me, talking about Micaiah is just as easy as, as me talking about the young lady who I was going to talk about originally, who you talked me out of it. And it's because I'm not sure how familiar Daniel is with my content, but as you know, most people who don't really know me don't talk to me. They come to my channel and they say, this channel is only doing numbers because he is full of drama and he's going at bigger YouTubers and saying people wives are unattractive like I did with E Black, etc., etc., etc. Let me see what Keisha said. See, the reaction to an action is a mess sometimes.
Sophia.
There we go. I definitely gotta understand what she's saying. I understand what she's saying. I think she's talking about Micaiah Bryant though. I think she's talking about the police reaction to Micaiah. Um, and yes, they didn't come to the scene knowing the whole story, which I still think was very fucked up because they called the police for themselves to be protected. But in the video that I showed earlier, that JP, she opted out to see, Micaiah did run up on the young lady with a knife. She was branding. She had a steak knife. Let's just be honest about it, and she could have hurt somebody more than likely. Do I think she was going to hurt somebody? Absolutely not. Do I think that she intended to? No, I think she wanted to protect herself. Um, that's pretty much where I stand on. Like, I still think that she should be alive today. Um, and if we're gonna hold her accountable for those actions, we gotta hold the foster care home director accountable for not creating a safe environment where children can come in and be fostered, right? Like, and actually grow. But instead, you're collecting checks for children, basically using your space as a place to just not like prison, JP. Somebody said it perfectly earlier, but like store kids. This is really just a place to store kids, and you get income, and you treat them like it's a fucking psychiatric ward or some shit. And somebody else in my chat said that when children go to these different places, they are usually treated worse by the adults. You know what I'm saying? And they are blamed. Well, you a bad kid. Nobody wants you. That's why you're here, because your own parents didn't want you. Right. So I imagine her being in that environment over and over and over again and being picked on by the young ladies around her and having to protect her little sister who I mean, at 16 years old, you shouldn't have to protect your 12-year-old sister from adults. But she did. The day that she passed away, she was fighting a 20-year-old woman and a 29-year-old woman. A 16-year-old.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine what was going through her mind. Other girls in the whole country, right? If it wasn't COVID, they thinking about going to prom. They thinking about dating. They thinking about homecoming. They thinking about dresses and shit like that, and what college they going to, how they gonna spend their senior year. She couldn't do none of that.
Sophia Sharif said facts because they're running the cash those checks versus caring for the children.
Unfortunately, yeah.
One of the things that I remember during my time as a child care provider, we had an option to do foster care, but I already had 3 of my own children, so I couldn't. Um, is though I wonder, are the parameters set high enough? How high should the bar be to be a foster parent? Because it's basically, I have the means and I have a good heart. What's the standard for being a foster parent?
That I have no idea about. I would believe there's a vetting process like there's any other vetting process in major organizations where you're about to become a parent or a foster parent, et cetera, et cetera. But At the end of the day, I do believe that there's, at least in Michigan, let me speak for Michigan, there's less vetting, it seems like, for people to get a weapon than there is to get a child. So I do think there's a lot of loopholes that people have to jump through just to get a child. However, she didn't have a foster care parent. She was in like one of those foster care institutions type shit where a whole bunch of kids was at. And that was just that. You know, she had like a head master, but this person was over 30 something kids, and it was more of their job than a parent saying, hey, I want to love this little adorable child. And it was more like, all right, I gotta go back to work and deal with all these badass kids. And that's how I believe the woman who ran the whole shit, I don't think that she gave a fuck about Micaiah or Janiyah Bryant. I think that she really like Sophia said, she really only gave a fuck about those checks. And you know, let me say something real quick, because we act like everybody give a fuck about black children, when I know for a fact that's not the case. You get what I'm saying? Like, you saw what me and my daughter went through just this weekend, right? Rent completely paid up and everything like that. But once she was attacked, specifically, we were both attacked by Christiana, people was more interested in me talking about black wife and anti-wife than trying to help us. I haven't seen not one Christian. I seen all the Christians come out. Don't talk about black wife. Don't talk about anti-wife. Hey guys, my child just got abused and she could use y'all help. Crickets. But that's what I'm used to.
Why do you think that is?
You want me to be honest?
Okay.
Without bringing up names, right? I think that is because for black people, not white people, not no other race, but for black people specifically, it's not that much profit in it, right? It's not that much profit in looking like a good person who can help other people, right? If Kevin Samuels' page was about helping children, he would not have 1 million subscribers. As a matter of fact, I dare anybody to find a page that is doing that has 1 million subscribers, or find a musician, a rapper, singer that does it, that's famous for that. In our community, we don't celebrate stuff the way we celebrate it. We just simply say it. Hey guys, black children matter. We shouldn't, like even with Chef and them, oh, kids is offline. You know what I'm saying? We're supposed to look out for all the kids. And this is not a shot at Chef specifically. I just brought him up because I remember him saying that. But how many of them have called me about, hey, are you and your baby okay? Are you mentally okay?
How many of them have you actually told?
How many of them did I tell Anton's wife was ugly? How
I
many
can't
people
answer
did
that one.
I never called anybody. They watched the content. So just like when I went live and I talked about it, they watched the content and they saw it. And you never find a video 5 minutes in me saying Anton's wife ugly as fuck. That means you went to a certain video, you watched it all the way through to grab the context. So I never told, like I told you, to answer your question, I told OG Patrice, Mr. Best in the World was one of the first people I called. He was screen recording, obviously Phoenicia, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But the people that you're talking about, that I'm not going to mention, you going to sit up here and try to make it seem like they didn't know about it? Like,
I am.
all I'm saying
You're
is,
not gonna put this on me because you're trying to get your words out.
I'm not
I'll
going
give
at
you
them. I just know
more.
that's how you feel about them too. All I'm saying is, like,
That's not fair either. That's some BS. Listen,
all I'm saying is not just them too, like not just people on my team, but it was people. Everybody saw that fucking video when I first went live and I showed me Christiana, me being assaulted. I had like 50 people in there. The same people that's always in every single one of my chats. So I felt like that was a situation where I shouldn't have to call people. Kim checked on me, right? The people who have my number, they directly checked on me. It was some people that I expected to share the video. I expected to call me. They never did. But again, like even on Lucky's page, right? We got a 4-hour video addressing me, Anton, kosher clinician, and fucking Guapo. But you're not having 4 hour discussions about protecting black children. Why? Because it brings more views in. It's not profitable to take care of, a community. That's why we don't have. Sorry, let me not say that. It is profitable, but black people don't understand the value in it. So not all black people, certain black people, enough to a point where we can't have a conglomerate community, right? It's over at that point.
What in the world? Okay. Um, Sophia says you ain't gotta let that die down at Uncut with Darrell Long. The lady ain't snuffleupagus.
Man, you ain't gotta let that die down. That lady ain't. Yeah, man, that's funny as hell. But yeah, that's what people care about more, especially in YouTube streets and in life. How many people donate to Patreons, but then when an ad come on, donate 17 cents, you can save a life. I ain't got it. I'd rather put my money towards a Patreon. Hey, cuz, how much money you make off that Patreon that you've been investing 50 a month in? So you haven't helped yourself, but with that same $50, you could have helped heli kids,
Yeah.
especially every month, right? Because now we talking about what, rough math. We talking about basically $350 a year that you're
Okay.
spending on a Patreon.
Hold on a second. Let's let Daniel say goodbye.
Okay,
Uh,
okay.
because he definitely does not care about this part of YouTube.
I don't
And
blame
is
him.
is tired, my love. Okay. I won't be much longer. I love you.
Yeah, me neither. Marcelo's about to pull up on me. We about to smoke.
Me too. Oh
Marcella, I
man,
feel some type
crazy.
of way.
I'm back home now. Aw,
Yeah, I'm like dead right now. I'm like dead. All right,
peace, Daniel.
later, Darrell. Yeah, I'm gonna drink some water and lay down. I've been awake for a really long time. I've been awake for 12, 13, 14, 14 hours and 15 minutes. Yeah, I'm gonna lay down. All right.
Jesus.
You,
All right. I'm
you
out.
gonna say Jesus?
Good
I
night.
love you,
Peace,
baby.
family.
Love you too.
Aw.
All right, Captain YouTube. Let's talk.
He said, now it's time
Okay.
to get this shit started.
I mean, first off, let's see what she got to say. Sophia says that's the necessary evil on IG, YouTube, Facebook, etc. Why care about you or me if I'm trying to see this or that plus 50 cents a day can feed a dog?
Hey, that's funny as hell.
Oh,
That's
Lord,
funny as hell. Cause
Sophia.
she definitely right. 50 cents a day not feeding nobody. But let me say this though. 50 cents a day not, but again, how many panels have you been on, JP? I'm not gonna say no panels names.
I need to.
No, you good, you good. I'm not gonna say no panels names, but how many panels have you been on where you see people give $100 super chat, $200 super chat, right? And it's to a channel, but you like, all right, guys, invest into, let's say, lobbyists so that we can get laws passed in your community, or let's invest into certain congressmen or city councilmen. That way we can get laws passed. And then it's like, nah. And I just feel like people invest into the wrong things purposely. And that's just a problem that I have. I do agree with Sophia that it's a necessary evil, kind of, because I
Is
was
it
using
a
it to
is
propel
it a
my.
necessary evil or is it a pay for play situation going on in front of us instead of behind the scenes? Because back in the day, radio stations you would pay them a certain amount of money and they'd make sure your record got played. So what if instead of behind the scenes you're paying them to play your record, you're giving them a super chat on the main stage and then they shout you out more and make sure you get more exposure?
I think that that's possible. I think it's possible that they're in a situation where they are exploiting the community, as you would say, right? Because people aren't truly paying everybody who does this. Um, but let's say people like Kevin. Kevin Samuels, for example. They were just talking about him over, between Jen and these other different people on King's page. And like I was telling them, I mean, if Kevin didn't look the way he looked, specifically what I mean is he dresses like a well-mannered person, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But that's not enough. There's plenty of niggas on YouTube with suits on. Let's be honest. JP, you know how toxic my page can quote unquote get. People like my page for drama. If I came on YouTube tomorrow with a suit on, Kevin never showed us that he was a millionaire or nothing like that. He just simply gave advice. So if I came on YouTube tomorrow with a suit on and I wore a suit for the rest of the next 3 years, and I told black men, hey, black man, don't settle for a black woman that's fat as fuck. If she fat as fuck, she can't cook. She's average at best. Beyonce is a 8. So if a woman says she's a 8, she's completely lying. What is your what's the question? How many kids you got? What's your waist size, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. These are all shaming techniques. And Kevin says these different things all the time. Well, they call me gay and they say I have two failed marriages. These are shaming techniques. Kevin, some of the things that you do as well are shaming techniques. When you told a woman that she was average at best, that was a shaming technique. That was you telling this woman, oh, and you said you're average at best, and that's why you're going to die alone, right? It comes across like to a lot of hurt people who haven't went through therapy, et cetera, like you're just championing idea of shitting on black women. And I think that a lot of black men and black women and the people act like only black people watch Kevin. Jen watch Kevin. Everybody that's on King Panel watch Kevin right now, and Ali and fucking Jen are well, Ali said she was Mexican, Jen is Afro Latina. But you get my point. The point is more than just black people watch this show. So
Yes.
all the people that wants to shit on black people, everybody that wants to hear the chaos between the dysfunctionality of black relationships, that is like guaranteed like entertainment. On Kevin's show, there's on a nightly basis, a white man can go in there and see a black man and a black man and a black woman arguing and fighting every single night. I know JP phone was ringing. Let me say it again. On Kevin channel, every single night, somebody of a different ethnicity can come on and see black men and black women arguing every single night. And let me read what Sophia said. Of course, you're being seen on YouTube with super chats instead of giving and just getting a thank you. Yeah, a lot of people just want to be seen. I agree. They want to wear Nike. North Side, yeah. Hey, yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Sophia's wittier than I knew. So I agree with you, though. You're right, because that's one of my problems with the KSs of the world and his acolytes, is that you're constantly, you are the representation of beating up on the image of black women. Maybe they do pull themselves up there. They go up for whatever reason that they go up there, but where's the line? Where's the respect level to it? Something about it. And then the representation isn't just limited to that. Is he being cognizant of what other communities are saying, other cultures are saying when they come up? Is he talking to them and making sure that they're not disrespecting black women in the way that he already is?
I think that the people don't really give a fuck about what Kevin does, right? Like the people just they just want entertainment. They don't give a fuck. Kevin called a woman a butterball. Nobody gave a fuck, right? That's funny as hell. He calling somebody a butterball. But if somebody called their mama a butterball, now it's a problem, right? So for me, like I said, it's something about this culture that love watching the next person take losses. Right? I think that y'all used to say a crab in a barrel mentality is what y'all would call it back in the day. And at the end of the day, it's super true. It's super true. A lot of these people, you got to think about JP. How many men is sitting in their home right fucking now watching Kevin or somebody else? No woman want them. No woman interested in them, even on their worst day. I can have no money right now and walk outside the house and have access to women because of my looks alone. But because that's not the case, I have access to women online, offline, et cetera, multiple cities, et cetera. Which is why the flower who I just like the flower who I cut off recently, it was nothing to me, right? And as you know, I'm also a big flirt. So I open myself up to these women talking to me anyway. But for me, what Kevin does is Kevin has a great show that's centered around not really helping nobody. Kevin says stuff like this, and I have no beef with Kevin. I'm just saying he says stuff like, "I've had thousands of married couples or people who've gotten married because they listen to my content. Why can't you bring none of these married couples to the fray so they can just say, hey, listen, thanks to Kevin doing A, B, C, and D, I was able to be a better husband. I was able to be a better wife." But that's not the case. And now he doesn't even do that one format when people will call in. He just have women around like fresh and fit at a table and shit, and they all talk to him. So to me, um, I'm not hating on Kevin, man. You know, Kevin, get it how you live, but we can't deny that a lot of your support came from bitter black men and bitter men regardless. Like the men who have access to women, they watch that show, and the women who have access to men, they watch that show and laugh. They watch that show and laugh. I got to do what to get a woman? I got to do what? Oh, and then a woman says, "Oh, I got it." So, how many women have called into Kevin's show absolutely beautiful? Oh, rate yourself, man, but you can't use 7. I think I'm an 8. Now, Beyonce's an 8. It's no way possible you're an 8. I might be a 6. No, Sweetie's a 6. There's no way you can be a 6. You're average at best. All right, Kevin, let's rate you. Do you look like fucking Shamar Moore? Do you look like fucking Tyson Beckford? No, right? You don't look like none of these different things. So I just feel like, and JP, we know for a fact because we on YouTube. Wasn't Kevin on YouTube for 3 years talking to black man, talking the exact same way to black man? Nobody gave a fuck.
Yes.
People beat on black men every single day. At that point, it was just another black man talking about a black man. Nobody gave a fuck. But when he started doing it to black women, and if he had said, "Ma'am, you're decent looking at best, and I hope you have a great day," he wouldn't be famous. You're gonna die alone. You're gonna die alone. This is a man who is unmarried, 2 divorces, no wife, no girlfriend. How we know that you're not gonna die tomorrow alone? Well, because I'm not married, I'm not alone. But you just tell these women if they weren't married, they're going to be alone. So that's another thing. It's the contradiction of the conversation. How many women do you know, JP, right now that's not married but not alone? They got somebody, not just somebody. They got 4 or 5 different plumbers that they can call to bust down pipe. For real,
Too many to be true.
many women.
I'm gonna give him 2 more seconds. Ta-da!
I think, and I'm gonna get off in like 3 minutes, but I think that they really set themselves up for failure listening to people like Kevin, and that's just how I feel about him overall. I think that some of the stuff he says it makes sense. And like some of the stuff that he was saying, if I had listened to him over the weekend when I was going through what I was going through with baby girl, same exact way. But at the end of the day, um, I know how to control my emotions when it comes to certain stuffs. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna fall back and let you just rock now because I'm about to get ready to go smoke with Maricela in a second. But you know, I love you, JP, and like we was talking about earlier. As far as people calling in about what I had going on, everybody watches my channel. Who like? Let me not say that because now I'm getting arrogant. But the people who do watch my channel, they're fully aware of my daughter. I hear this all the time. You're a great father. You're a great father. but these people are not talking about the other side. Like, you know what I'm saying? Why I'm in my situation. You are the only person that, like, I contact everybody. Hey, I want to show this video of me being abused. We got you. We got you. You was the only one that said, this the date we gonna do it. Let's go ahead and get this done. Let's go ahead and show the people what happened. Everybody else was on bullshit. So and
So, well, if you have something to say, what is it? I'll give it to you. What would
about
you
what
like to see done better or different moving forward? As a content creator, as a single father in this situation, as someone who thinks that there is a different way to go about it, what would be your final solution?
um this the one thing I would say. It's one thing I'm gonna say as far as fathers and single fathers. I would like to see the community hold women who are toxic, women who bring drama and trauma to families. I want to see them held accountable because about single fathers. We talk about having communities together. But when a man is going through certain things, you saw what I was going through, JP, when I went live. Be quiet. Don't talk about it. Men don't talk about these things in public. And like I said, I couldn't help but to think that if a woman had been abused and she's talking about her abuse in public, that she's going to be fully supported, right? And we saw that one woman recently, she went live. I think her name is Donda Kelly. She went live saying that she was homeless and she ended up getting 250K in fucking and GoFundMe's. Come to find out, the kids weren't even fucking hers,
Hmm.
right? That's the kind of support that is given to single mothers or mothers in need immediately. I can go online right now and say, Christiana stabbed my daughter. I need $1,000, and the niggas who I know have it online. They're not going. They're not going to do nothing.
I mean, I understand that part. I think the social media world, though, like I said, is a reflection of what we are in the real world. We choose our title names. We choose our channel names. We choose the subjects. We choose um, which comments go up and which ones don't. We say thank you or we don't. Which, by the way, thank you to Corey and Quita, our channel godparents, for the blunts over on Buy Me a Coffee. You can support us there. In a moment, I'm going to put up Darrell's Cash App. Please feel free to support Darrell. Shout him out. Give him a little bit of love. He and baby girl need it. He could use a blunt, and I could certainly love to see him laugh. So these are, I just, my thing is, and these are gonna be my final thoughts as well. We're gonna get out of here, but my thing is, we're at a point where everyone is experiencing some level of excess stress. Whether it's like Dr. Fauci said, and there's everyone's gonna get COVID, so get ready for it. Or what do I do once it's here, once my people have it? Who's gonna make it, who's not? Too many of us are living in fear, and we need to start looking for our peace. So, if your peace is compassion, communication, community, and cannabis, I'm right here for you all as often as I can be. There are other folks out here. We can have a conversation. We can be better for different for one another, build a different village, be different Black people, and be an example of how we can do something different moving forward. So I appreciate you, Darrell. Hold on. Let me make sure I get the Cash App up here. Darrell, if you want to close this out, give me your Cash App real quick. DA.
It's like the dollar signs and it's D long 316. I definitely appreciate anybody who send me donations. Like JP knows, most of that stuff goes directly to my daughter. You know what I'm saying? I'm in a place right now in Michigan where we not even recreational. So it's, you know what I'm saying? I had to go find somebody to get something like that. But for me, a lot of stuff that is being sent to me directly goes to my daughter because, as you know, JP, we had to move out the place, and it wasn't like we had to move out because the rent wasn't paid. We had to move out because somebody was continuously putting us in a dangerous situation to the point where a friend of court would have been looking at me like, "Why the fuck are you staying around this person who you know is violent towards you and your daughter?"
Yeah.
And it forced me in a situation where like even now I had to go wash lay clothes at the new place or whatever, and you got to pay for laundry and shit. You got to pay for washer and dryer. At my old place, I can just throw that shit right in. So everything was the way it was for a certain reason, and it was snatched from me simply because I didn't want to get somebody to fuck off me and basically put them the fuck down. But that's that wasn't the fucking goal. The goal was just for for my daughter to be okay. That's the
Yeah.
only goal in this situation for me. It's certain things that she's like you say all the time. She still needs her mother. She still need a feminine touch. Um, but it's certain stuff that I just can't do for her. Like I just got her hair did because I've been around my sisters and other women. You feel me? But at the end of the day, um, I really just want to see people hold people accountable. And there's like when I wasn't around my kids, even for a month or so, he a deadbeat. He a deadbeat. Those are people who either trying to shame people or hold us accountable. When a woman is in the same situation, I find it that they don't talk shit about this woman unless they have some kind of personal vitriol. Like well, they don't like this person personally, right? But otherwise, they're going to just give them a pass. So that's all I'm gonna say. I just want to see more accountability on both ends. That's all.
Yeah. Agreed. I
And
think accountability.
Marcella said she want me to call you.
As soon as we're done, y'all got to give me
Yeah,
a pause for the cause, and then I'll be ready.
yeah, she on her way up here now from Detroit.
Okay. How long is that gonna be? I gotta, you know.
And she said like 20, 30 minutes because she coming from downtown Detroit. She's still off the river.
Okay. All right. Sophia says, I help lots of people in my apartment complex. I won't watch a baby. Need so because of her symptoms. But
Mm-hmm.
she got to get down. Yeah, this is one of those things like people and then we're gonna go, people make it seem as though because you're disabled or you're in the house you can't be supportive or you can't help. There are a host of things that you can do. This right here, being willing to take some of the weight off of Darrell when he does other things on his live streams, being on his team so that he didn't have to moderate, so that he didn't have to be in other chats at the same time. There's a host of ways that you can help people who are trying to do more if you're not someone who can be in front of the camera. But accountability is huge, and we've got to understand that it starts with us acknowledging that we know we have power in who we are as people. Our value and our power is in our knowledge of who we are, and then moving forward, how we express that and share it with others. So I appreciate everybody for sticking with me through this stream. I promise you guys I will be back up and running soon. I just want to make sure that I can be here as consistently as possible and share with you all as much of the under knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that I have. So I am going to hit the outro, and Darrell, I will see you on the other side. Peace and blessings, y'all. Keep your
Peace,
spirit
love.
up, and I'll see y'all in the streams.
Peace.